Hi, folks. Welcome to Crisco's Corner. Unfiltered commentary. And that's your truth, the real truth. Please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thank you for your support. Hi, folks. Welcome back to Crisco's Corner from PJ Media. Very conservative site, so if you're not conservative, trigger warning alert. I want to mention, for those of you that subscribe and follow my channel, the previous video I had where I apologized to all the progressives, leftists, and the woke people and how wrong I was and all that. I know my subscribers are smart enough to figure out that was sarcasm. For those of you that aren't smart enough, it was sarcasm. Just to show how ridiculous their position was. That was my way of going about it. If you didn't like it, and you thought it was in bad taste, too bad. Don't watch it. This really pissed me off. This is from Boston. The poor Boston Marathon bomber is suffering and he wants justice. This piece of crap. As the Boston Marathon jihad murderer, I can never pronounce his name, it's been so long, Tsarnaev was murdered 3 people. Why is everyone being so mean to him? I thought I was sarcastic. Young Tsarnaev, whatever, is suffering and he wants you to feel his pain. CBS Boston reported Wednesday that he has filed a handwritten lawsuit claiming that he has been mistreated in prison. This complaint shows that the killer, besides being a confirmed jihadi and with the deaths of several infidels on his record, has also mastered what he proved to be in many cases the most lucrative game of all, the game of victimhood. Yeah. Even in jail, and even from a foreign country, you still catch on quick. You know, I'm debating. I see this ad here. Trump 2024. Make votes count again. That's pretty cool. I'm very tempted to get that, frankly. Now, I won't be able to fly it in front of my store anymore because I'm right this week. I should be closing on its sale. But I'll find a place for it, that's for sure. In his plaintiff handwritten lawsuit, I'll just say the bomber instead of his name, rather go through this every time. The bomber claims the Bureau of Prisons and Attorney General Merrick Garland, who's been there a whole 15 minutes, was interfering with his ability to communicate with his family, placing a hold on his money, and hurting his chances of avoiding a death sentence. He says that he has been forbidden to send photos to his family since 2019. Photos of what? And that has been, well, nigh unbearable. Oh, you poor thing. I am suffering psychological injury, emotional distress, and destruction of my familial relationships. The bomber acknowledged that his nieces and nephews were allowed to come visit him, but complained he was not allowed to call or write them, which he said is cruel and unusual punishment. He is allowed to speak to his parents and sisters by phone twice a month. Okay, sounds pretty good for somebody that was on death row. Gee, that's tough. At this point, it's useful to recall those killings in the bomber's bombings. Len Z. Liu, a 23-year-old graduate student, killed. Crystal Campbell, a 29-year-old restaurant manager, killed. And Martin Richard, who was all of 8 years old, killed. And what kind of distress are the families of these 3 experiencing, do you think? Especially the 8-year-old. Oh, my God. All death like that is tragic, but a small child, Jesus. It gets even worse for the poor lamb. I got to up my game because these guys are more sarcastic than I am, and I thought I was pretty good, but these guys are way better than me. He said he was issued a face mask due to COVID-19 pandemic. Now, wait till you read the rest of this paragraph. What this a-hole is trying to claim. and was reported the face mask was missing the metal nose piece. The little piece right here that closes it. The bomber said the mask was manufactured without the nose piece, and inclusion of the incident as a reason for special administrative measures violated his Fifth Amendment right to due process. You piece of crap. You're lucky you're even breathing. Some of this may have to do with the fact that the bomber has not exactly been a model prisoner. No. Really? Wow, what a shocker. Puts out bombs that kills 3 people, and he wanted him to be an ideal prisoner. Every year since 2013, his prison privileges have been restricted in various ways with special administrative measure called SAMs. As a result of this proclivity to violence, they were reviewed every year, and every year the bomber has gotten them again. As a result of the imposition of the SAM restrictions, he complains, I have experienced continued extreme and unjustifiable difficulties communicating and corresponding with family members and attorneys. Oh, you poor thing. The bomber has reason to be glad he was able to make this complaint. The Boston Globe reported last July that a 182-page ruling that infuriated some victims, no kidding. The U.S. Court of Appeals of the First Circuit ruled that Georgia A. O'Toole Jr., the judge in the bomber's 2015 trial, did not meet the standard of fairness while presiding over jury selection. The appeals court accordingly overturned the bomber's death sentence aside from cheating the bomber out of his 72 virgins, thus denied justice to his victims. I like the 72 virgins there. We got to look to see. I forgot to look up the name of the person that wrote the article. Man, this guy's great, or girl. Judge O. Rajier Thompson wrote that a core promise of our justice system is that even when the worst among us deserve to be fairly treated and lawfully punished. I agree, actually, with that statement. Not necessarily this instance. What was undeniably true is, as Thompson's observation, the bombings were one of the worst domestic terror attacks since the 9/11. But how unfair was the trial, in fact, and how unfair could it have been? There's no question that the bomber is guilty. I mean, there isn't. I mean, it's like and I'm iffy on the death penalty, probably leaning more towards yes, but when you have evidence that's conclusive, I don't mean, put your own twist on it and put your own interpretation, conclusive. His actions were captured on video and abundantly documented. What's more, he remained defiantly unrepentant for a considerable period after the attack. As prosecutors argued in 2015 that he deserved the death penalty, they released a video of the bomber 3 months after his attack, looking at the security camera in his cell, primping his hair in the reflection, and then flashing the V sign and giving his middle finger to the jailers. All right, so the guy's got an attitude. Know why he's pissed? You know why he's mad? He's mad because he got caught. And I don't know why he's mad he got caught in the U.S. Because anywhere else in the world, this SOB would have been dead by now. And they wouldn't have put him to sleep nicely either. Well, why not? He believed he had done a righteous deed. The motivations of the bomber and his brother and fellow jihad murderer bomber became clear very quickly after the bomber was apprehended. CNN reported a week after the bombings that the bomber, wounded and held in a Boston hospital, has said his brother, who was killed early Friday, wanted to defend Islam from attack. And just before he was captured, when he was hiding out inside a pleasure boat, the bomber wrote a long justification on the inside of the boat, including the line, when you attack one Muslim, you attack all Muslims. Now, here's the deal. I'm not saying this. I'm not implying that all progressives and leftists want to bomb people and have total disregard for human life. But they think the same. That they justify any actions, progressives and leftists, and I think sometimes up to including violence, many cases, because they say they're in a righteous cause to defeat evil. Who could fight with a premise if you were a freedom fighter and you did some horrendous things to help stop the Nazis in World War II. You would consider that justifiable. They think the same as many progressives and many leftists. And I don't care if you guys think I'm putting everybody in one boat. I'm not. And if you think that, you're an idiot. But nonetheless, that statement is so true. I asked Allah to have mercy on me, my brother, and my family, the bomber said in 2015. And now he is asking the American judicial system to have mercy on him as well. But what about the mercy for those he murdered and maimed? His victims have no chance to appeal the death penalty that he gave to them. Can they countersue? That's the thing. The victims are supposed to be represented by the state. Now, I'm not sure this is federal or state court. There was a district attorney involved or a federal prosecutor, I don't recall. Either way, it comes out the same. They're supposed to represent the victims. And I think they did a proper job. Of course, the evidence was overwhelming. A first-year law student could have got a conviction. That's neither here nor there. They didn't have a chance to appeal. They appealed for justice, and they got the best they could under the circumstances. You can't bring people back from the dead. You know, the funny part is, how do these victims' families sue and get all these millions for a horribly unwrongful death? Meanwhile, victimhood has become a major industry in this United States worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Can they countersue? No. But I got to tell you, Robert Spencer is his name. I got to tell you, Robert, well-written article. Just enough. Well, I shouldn't say just enough. A lot of sarcasm, which I thoroughly enjoyed. So anybody out there, go to PJ Media and send a message to, I see he has a Facebook and a Twitter account, to Robert Spencer. And say, Robert, I read your article on the Boston bomber. Well done. And I love the sarcasm. These guys get these messages. They get a lot of crap, too. So the weird part is when somebody praises them and really appreciates their humor or their sarcasm, it sticks out. Anybody that deals with the public knows I've had a store for over 20 years, plus worked in retail on and off for many years. But prior to that, you could have 100 nice people in a day. And the one big a-hole that you get, that's the one you remember, and that's just the way human nature is. So send Robert a message. Say, I read your article. Thought it was awesome. I'll subscribe to PJ Media. I think you're also looking for donations as well because they're independent. Anyway, folks, I thought you'd get what's the word I'm looking for? Outraged at the narcissism and hypocrisy of this whole thing. We bend over backwards for bad guys, but the victims and the good guys get crapped on. What else is new? And if we don't stop this soon, the progressives and the leftists, it's going to be for all cases. Make no mistake. And until next time, goodbye and good luck.